Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another lesson of biology. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be discussing the pituitary gland with you guys, and today I've got two drawings for you guys prepared and I've got some summary notes. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be explaining the points in detail. So today with the pituitary gland, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain its functions and the two important hormones it secretes inside the human body, namely ADH and oxytocin. So what I have over here, is the structure of the human brain. So the pituitary gland is located inside the hypothalamus, which is situated right at the bottom of the brain, next to the brainstem and next to the cerebellum. Now what the pituitary gland does is it's separated into two distinct lobes. That is called the posterior lobe and the anterior lobe over here. Now what happens inside the posterior and the anterior lobes? We have different tissues that make up the two different lobes inside the pituitary gland. So the anterior lobe is made up of glandular tissues inside the hypothalamus. The posterior lobe is made up of nerve tissues and your neurological tissues inside the hypothalamus. The reason being is because all of the nerves and the body cells inside the posterior and posterior lobe stem directly from the brain. Hence why the anterior lobe and the posterior lobe have two distinct names. The posterior lobe is neurohypophysis. That would be called the neurohypophysis. The anterior lobe is called the adenohypophysis. Neuro means neurons, so what would happen is that the nerves and the neurons would make up the posterior lobe. Adeno means glandular, hence glandular tissue. That's why glandular tissue makes up the anterior lobes. Now what we have is that secretory products are produced in body cells over here. This is the nucleus with the neurons, and these black dots represent body cells. The body cells are the ones that produce the secretory product, and what you find that inside those body cells there are organs which are called vesicles. The function of the vesicles, what they do is that they secrete secretory products down the stalk of the hypothalamus and into the posterior lobe. Then at the appropriate time, they will be secreted into the posterior lobe, and what the posterior lobe contains is it contains an organ of capillaries and veins, and what they do is that they transport the particular hormones being secreted into the bloodstream. This is called systemic circulation. Systemic circulation meaning in the sense that it'll be distributed all throughout the body. Now, obviously this won't happen all at the same time. The hypothalamus produces so many different types of hormones, but then what would happen is that whenever the body is lacking a hormone or has too much of a hormone, what it would do is that the pituitary gland would secrete the hormone, it would go to the specific target organ, and then it would perform its particular function over there. Now, with the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, that is just one part of the endocrine system. Now, the endocrine system is a different system that's made up of different glands inside the human body, and those particular glands either secrete or receive hormones in order to perform functions. Examples could be the ovaries, the testes, the thyroid gland, the liver, and the pancreas. Now, what you would find over here is that once the secretory products are distributed all throughout the body via systemic circulation, what would happen now is that there would be a balance or a restoration of feedback inside the body. So with the endocrine system, there is something called a negative feedback mechanism. So the function of this endocrine system is to restore balance whenever there is too much of a hormone or too little of a hormone. That particular hormone will be secreted, and the endocrine system will work to reduce those hormone levels to normal. Now, the two particular hormones that the pituitary gland secretes is oxytocin and ADH. Oxytocin is used in so many different parts of the medical field, namely being one and a very popular section of the human body that uses oxytocin is the uterus. So when a woman is pregnant and she's preparing to give birth to a baby, what would happen is that the oxytocin would be released into the bloodstream, and what would happen then is that the uterus and the walls of the uterus would contract in order to aid with childbirth. Now, Oxytocin can also be used to induce labor as well. So what would happen is that doctors can also inject the women with oxytocin to induce the labor. Hence, when that happens, the uterine walls will contract and the woman can easily give birth to her baby. Oxytocin is also used in the process of breastfeeding. It's used for lactation to reduce the glands and the walls of the mammary gland to help produce breast milk, and then in turn the baby can easily breastfeed from the mother, and the mother can continuously provide and produce breast milk in order for her baby to drink and to survive. Another thing is that it's also attributed to emotional connections between humans and the emotional connections between a mother and child. Now, oxytocin is responsible for so many different types of functions in the body, and hence why it is extremely important. So, whenever there would be a lack of or a shortage of something, the endocrine system would release that particular hormone, and then it would go to its target audience or to its target hormone and produce and just perform that particular function is needed to perform. Another hormone that's also released by the pituitary gland is called ADH. ADH stands for antidiuretic hormone. The purpose of ADH is to conserve water levels in the body. This could be from urine in the urinary system, or it could be sweat glands, or it could be hypothermoregulation or thermoregulation, thermoregulation, hypothermia, hypothermia, and different glands inside the body that work with liquids and waters, salts, minerals, so many different things. So what the ADH does is that it restores water balance in the level, it would reduce urine levels, and then in that way we can cancel out the negative feedback mechanism. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, please, you're more than welcome to drop them in the comments, and I'll most definitely get back to you. So please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone, have a nice day.